Okay, good morning, Team Impact. Welcome back from Thanksgiving break. Hope you had a nice break. Hope you ate a lot of bird stuffing, pumpkin pie, so on. But we've got to get back to work here. We got to pound through this unit 5. We're on lesson 8 today. If you were in class today, we warmed up with some percent problems, did some fact sheets, and then we're moving on. So this is application, which just means that it's a lot of word problems. Okay, so we're going to talk about these, figure out what we know, maybe even talk about some tape diagrams here. Anyway, okay. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to find out what we need to know, what you're solving. All right. And does my answer make sense? At Paulson Middle School, 75% of the grade is making a B or higher. 75% is making a B or higher. Well, that's pretty good. If there are 24 students in sixth grade, then how many are making a B or higher? Okay. So what information do we know? We know that 24 students, all right, there's 24 students in class, right? I know that, right? I also know, right, 75%, and I'll draw a line there, all right, gets a B or higher, right? And what do we need to know? All right. Well, we need to know what 75% of that number is. So we need to know what how many students that is. A percent doesn't really mean anything without a number, right? So we just want to know how many students will get a B or higher. Are we looking for the part, the whole, or the percent? Well, we have the percent here, and it looks like we have the whole. So it looks like to me we're looking for the part. Right? We're going to be looking for the part. We're going to be looking for the top of the second ratio. All right. So, okay, we haven't dealt with this too much, but let's kind of break this down. All right. We have, 100% is 24 students, right? All right. So if I broke this into fourths, right? Because this is one of the fourths. If I broke this as 25%, let's call this 50%, right? Let's call this 75%, and there's 100, right? So if we look at this diagram, and I know these aren't exact, but, you know, half of 24 is 12, right? If that makes sense, right? Okay. And then really half of 12 is 6, which is 25%. 25% of 20 of 25% of 24 is 6, right? And then after 12, we're going to go to 18, right? So this is how this would work out. So if 75% of the students are making a B or higher, then we could color this in up to 18 and get there, right? And that makes sense, right? That's our tape diagram. We haven't dealt with that much, all right? All right, what is the solution? Well, it's 18 students, right? 18 students. Yeah, it makes sense. Sure, it's almost to 24. I haven't dealt with this. I think doing it the other way is a little bit quicker, which is what we're going to focus on down here. But I wanted to show you that. Number one, a campus survey states that 40% of the students ride the bus. If there are 300 students, then how many ride the bus, right? Okay, so I'm not going to worry about the tape diagram, all right? I showed you that once. Let's get back to our proportions, right? So I always put percent on the left side. Remember, 40 out of 100. All percents are out of 100. Now, is 300 the part or the whole? Well, if there's 300 students riding the bus, that's the whole. We're looking for the part. Okay, so when we cross multiply, 4 times 3 is 12, and add 1, 2, 3 zeros. So it's 12,000 divided by 100, right? And when we take 12,000, okay, and we divide it by 100, so we'll just do this here just to show you. 12,000 divided by 100, you're going to get 120, right? So 40% of 300 is 120 students. Okay. So I hope that made sense there. Next one. In Janet's neighborhood, 66 and 6/10% of the households have a landline. All right. And we also could write that as 66 and 2/3, right? Percent, right? That's the same thing. If there are 80 households in the neighborhood, then how many have a landline? Well, let's take this and put 66.6 repeating over 100. That's our percent side. Equals. If there's 80 households in the neighborhood, how many have the landline? Now, I can't put that into my calculator, but I can put the 2/3 in. So watch how I can do this, okay? 66 and 2/3 times 80 times 80, okay? And we get that. And then I'm going to divide that by 100, and we're going to get about 53 students, right? And I'm going to do this, my squigglies, and about 53 students, okay? I know it said do not solve, but I'm not real big into the tape diagrams. I showed you one. It's easier to set up a proportion, okay? All right, let's flip the page and take a look at the back here. So on the back, we have some more word problems, and we're going to be breaking it down a little bit. All right, I'm probably just going to go right to the plan and work and get a solution. All right, what I need to know is I'm going to talk you through it. Okay. All right. There are 80 Little League teams. 30% of them have players under the age of 7. How many teams have players under the age of 7? Okay. So our percent sides on the left, 30 out of 100 equals. There's 80 Little League teams. The 30% of them, 30% of that number, so that's our whole, our X goes on the top. Okay. 30% of that number, all right, has players under the age of 7. So let's cross multiply. 3 times 8 is 24. Add 2 zeros. Divide it by 100. When you divide by 100, you just cancel those zeros out. And X is 24 players. Okay. And there it is. All right. Let's move to the next one here. In Seattle, Washington, it is said to rain 66% of the time. Wow, that's a lot. Since there are 365 days in a year, about how many days will it rain? So we know our percent side is 66 out of 100. All percents out of 100. 365 is 1 year, so that is definitely our whole, and we're looking for the part. Okay? Now, this one I'm going to need a calculator because I can't do that mentally real quick. So 66 times 365 is 24,090. So I'd like to write that number right there, 24,090. And I divide, 24,090. And I divide that by 100. And you end up with 240.9 days. It's going to rain, right? So I would take that up to about 241. Let's shove that up, right? So X is 240.9, but I'm going to say it's approximately 241 days, right? Makes sense? Excellent. Excellent. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed that break the last couple of days. At the post office, 45% of the packages ship as priority mail. If 160 are shipped, all right, today, how many will not go as a priority mail? Not go as priority mail. Okay. So nothing has changed, right? Nothing has changed. So we're going to take 45 out of 100. Now, if 100 are shipped, how many will not go as priority mail? Well, 45% of that number will. So we're going to have to do some things here, I think, here. So let's take a look at this. So if there's 160 over X, okay, this is our whole, what is being shipped. So let's take 160, and multiply that by 45, and we're going to get 7,200. And divide that by 100, which is 72, Now, but that's not the answer because that's how many are being shipped, right? So what we need to figure out is how many are not going to be shipped, all right? Well, I think what we need to do is take 160, which is our total, and subtract 72. And we should be able to do that like so. And we end up with 88 packages that are not going to be shipped. 72 are, because 45% of 160 is 72. So that was the additional step that we needed to take a look at. Okay, excellent. All right, Stephon Curry plays for Golden State Warriors and has a 90% free throw shooting record. Wow, that's good. If he shoots 12 free throws in a game, approximately how many did he miss? Okay, no problem. So let's start with our percent, which is 90 over 100. Now, if he shoots 12 in a game, that's going to be our whole, and we're looking for the part. Okay, so this scenario is similar to the last one. So if we take 90 times 12, we get 1,080, and we divide that by 100, and really it's going to be 10.8. Excuse me, it's going to be 10.8, because all you're doing is moving the decimal point to the left. Here's the decimal 1, 2, when you divide it by 100. So that's 10.8. But wait a second here. That's how many he's going to make out of 12. How many did he miss? So what I would do is I would take that to 11. He's going to make that. So how many did he miss? All right. If he total of 12, he made 11, he's going to miss one. Miss one. All right. So good stuff. You're going to be cranking out this using proportions. You got 1 through 8. We're getting to the back end of this unit now, so we need to make sure we dial it in. We got a few more lessons after this, but this is due tomorrow. I'm also queuing up Con this morning, so we got that going on. So anyway, have a great day, guys.